So yes, the new update is coming and definitely a whole bunch of vehicles and changes are coming as well. And I do apologize for being late on this topic because I had a huge trouble making this video. I really have no idea why. And at the same time, I'm trying my best not to basically say stuff that ended up being false or just not sitting well with everybody. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's a hot take, but rather a really bad take because maybe it's a little bit unwarranted. But hey, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. The only thing we can do is to be respectful about it. Anyway, I'm going to be covering the vehicles and the weapons that's coming in the coming update, and then, give my 2 cents about it. Except of course the aircraft, the Ki-84 attacker aircraft, the twin engine Navy fighter. And the reason is that I'm really not too big on airplanes in Enlisted, so yeah, I'm not going to comment too much about the airplane. So first thing that was added is going to be the 1921 Thompson. Now my first impression of this thing is that why is Darkflow adding this thing again? Like, it's gonna be a copy-paste Thompson submachine gun, especially since there's already the 1928 submachine gun that has the horizontal grip, 50 rounds and the same rate of fire. But I guess I'm pretty sure people coming from the test server have actually tested this thing and found that it's actually a pretty good submachine gun. I can only guess is that, which I'm hoping, that Darkflow actually gave this thing a very good stability performance. Unlike the other Thompsons where it has a very strong horizontal recoil that just pull the gun sideways, even at short ranges. So I still think it's a little bit unnecessary, but I guess the only saving grace is that this thing has a very good stability performance. Otherwise, it's just a weapon that you just unlock along the way, skip it, and then just get the 1944 height. And then the next thing that was added that everybody was excited for a little while, until they realized what battle rating isn't going to be in. And honestly though, as soon as I saw this picture, I already know it's going to be in battle rating 4. And the reason is because of the armor. 152mm of armor that when you angle like this, even Tigers and Panthers have difficulty penetrating your upper front plate. And not to mention, it seems like they are adding the track armor as well. So yeah, as long as you angle this thing, keep this thing moving, not a lot of things can actually penetrate you unless of course, battle rating 4, you're gonna be seeing battle rating 5 matches, you see a Yak Panther or you see a Tiger 2. Those two tanks don't really give a shit about this thing's armor. And not to mention, if I'm not mistaken, Panzer 4 with the long 75mm has APCR, and that's how you need to penetrate the turret armor. And not to mention, come closer guys, come closer. If you shoot this mud flap right here, that is 20mm sitting on top of 30mm, sitting on top of 66mm. So that means it's around 120mm of armor. So as long as your gun can pen more than 120mm of armor, you can shoot this right here, you'll penetrate, and then if it's armor piercing high explosive shell, it will get into the crew space and take out the driver and the machine gunner. And who knows, maybe you'll even get the ammo right here. Yes, that's right, I'm exposing this thing's weakness before it even came out. But in all honesty though, this thing is gonna be incredibly slow. Like sure, I'll give it to you that it has really strong armor, but the second an enemy plane spots you, you are so screwed. You are really not getting away from that bomb. And to top it off, the 75mm on this thing, assuming it's performing exactly like how it performs in War Thunder, even with the APC BC shell, it's somehow worse than the Sherman 75mm. Like, it has about the same penetration, but it doesn't have explosive filler. And also the range is very limited. So at the very most, you using the Churchill Mark 7 is basically like how you are using the Sherman 105. You just go into battle, spam high explosive, call it a day. Which is more or less the reason why I kinda miss the 57mm on this thing. Like, the Churchill Mark 3, I'm really not a huge fan of its armor, but I am a huge fan of his gun. The Churchill Mark 7 is the other way around. And then moving on, Japan. Again, like, the first time I saw this thing, like sure, there is a gimmick of putting a bayonet on a shotgun, but it's not as if Japan already has a shotgun that is one of the best shotguns in the game, so why on earth is Darkflow adding this? I mean, I guess that you want to fill in the battle rating 1 or tier 1 ranks because the Type 100 early is got bumped up to battle rating 2, but for the long run ahead, there's a reason why people aren't really using shotguns. Players would prefer to use submachine guns and the Solarton S1100 submachine gun is already a very solid submachine gun for starters to begin with. And also, some other video that I watched about the update, I saw some comments that actually made me laugh a little bit. There are some players who are asking for a double barrel shotgun for Western allies in Battle Rating 1. Like, firstly, you have this thing. And secondly, you have the ECK 37. It's a pump action shotgun. What more do you fucking want? And then moving on with the Chinu 2, which I was a little bit disappointed that it's gonna be in Battle Rating 4. I was at least hoping that it's gonna be at least Battle Rating 3. Otherwise, the best bet is at least very early Battle Rating 4. Because you see, if I have to describe the Chinu 2 with comparison with more familiar tanks, I would say that the Chinu 2 is basically Panzer IV F2, but it's Japanese. You basically have about the same firepower as, say, Panzer IV-H or Panzer IV-J. The difference being that you only have 50mm of armor on this thing. That isn't really going to bounce too much, not to mention you're going to be facing 76 Shermans on this thing. So yeah, unfortunate that it's going into Battle Rating 4, to which I say the only saving grace to make this tank a little more worth getting is early in the tier 4 line, maybe right in between the Chinu and the NATO. If it's an optional grind, what's the point of playing this thing? I can just grind the NATO and then grind the Chito, which is another Battle Rating 4 tank with the same gun and a much better armor. If it's somewhere late or as an optional grind to the Chito, then what's the point of adding this thing in the first place? And of course, the biggest issue I have with this thing, I'm not exactly sure why Japan seems to have some kind of allergy to adding machine guns inside the turret where the gunner can use. But yeah, the machine gun setup is kinda I have to rely on the machine gunner in the hall, or the commander sticking his head out and using the machine gun up here. There's no machine gun in the turret where I can use safely and shoot anybody who is running in between my reloads. So yeah, just to sum it all up, like, again, some of these weapons and vehicles is really based on how they are performing and where exactly are they in the battle rating and tier. And I can already see that there's already problems with the Churchill Mark 7 and the Thompson. Again, like, its only saving grace is that it has a really good stability performance. Otherwise, what's the point of adding this thing? I can just use the Thompson that I already invested in, or play the Hyde 1944. As well as Japan, like, why? But yeah, that's all I gotta say about the coming weapons and vehicles for the coming update. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I shall see you guys in the next one. Cheers!